People that are out there to maybe protest, it's their right, civic right. But let them put a face to it.
The message we're taking back to our people is to be calm, to exercise patience.
Top traditional rulers, religious figures and APC governors rise from emergency meeting with President Tinubu with a call on those aggrieved to shelve planned nationwide protest.
When hoodlums, hijack such protests, it may lead to several issues.
Ensure security for all Nigerians. Protect peaceful protesters from hoodlums. TUC urges security agencies.
There can be no peace in Nigeria if there is insecurity in any part of this country.
Farewell to a giant. Emmanuel Nwanyawu dies at 82. Good evening and welcome to NTA Network News. I am Jummai, Yusuf. We will be joined by Ayodeji Makinde later in the course of tonight's broadcast for some news on sports and the latest from the Olympics in Paris. And of course, the news broadcast is live on all our social media platforms displayed on your screen. We begin tonight with the call by some Nigerian leaders under the umbrella of the National Council of Traditional Rulers of Nigeria, appealing to organizers of the planned August 1st nationwide protest to deeply reconsider their stance and shelve planned action, considering the likely implications of such agitation on the social and economic life of the nation and the people. This was after their meeting with President Bola Tinubu at the State House. State House correspondent Musbau Dan Wahab reports on these and other strategic meetings of the president.
The fragile peace around town was indeed pervasive around the corridor of power this Thursday. The state of a nation demands strategic decisions and urgently too. Hence, the crucial engagement of President Bola Tinubu with various groups of leaders. First was the interface with governors on the platform of the All Progressives Congress, APC. The outcome of this meeting was yet to be released as of the time of filing this report. And then, a bigger one with traditional rulers from across the country under the umbrella of the National Council of Traditional Rulers of Nigeria. The president leveraged on this institution to update the citizens on his various policies and programs aimed at turning around the economy of the country. That include the immediate measures to ameliorate the hardship in terms of food shortage and the rising cost of living. And the president is asking for patience from the citizens to allow manifestation of economic policies he believes would impact positively on the lives of Nigerians. President Tinubu expressed his respect for the legitimate right of the citizens to air their views, but his concern is the possible ulterior motive of some people behind the protest, which he said could negatively affect Nigerians and their means of livelihood.
Stewardship from the Federal Executive Council directly to the traditional rulers. It has never happened in our nation before, never. This is the first time we are all experiencing it. People that are out there to maybe protest, it's their right, civic right. But let them put a face to it and don't let it be hijacked by people that has ulterior motive. That is our stand. We condemn such acts fully. We traditional rulers are not engaged in people, especially the youth, coming out to start looting, to start breaking down law and order. We are parents, we are traditional rulers, we are closer to them. We are going to go back home and continue to engage them.
The message we're taking back to our people is to be calm, to exercise patience, and also to listen to the words of wisdom coming from the traditional rulers, from the governors, because we have spoken to the president and he has given us the blueprint of what he has been doing over time, and we're hopeful, that inshallah it will be well.
The president also received the Council of Ulamas, who came to relay the message of their followers.
We have taken up what people are saying about the hardship, the insecurity, and what have you. And alhamdulillah, the president listened to us. We are appealing to both Nigerians, Muslims and Christians, that they should be patient. Inshallah, a result will come out.
He identified with Nigerians and their suffering, and he assured that it is for good. In the interim, he has promised more intervention to, ameliorate the seeming suffering of the people. And in the days to come, he promised that Nigerians will see the result of all of these sacrifices.
The groups of leaders were unanimous in their belief that the current administration needs some time to deliver the gains of its policies and programs. From the State House, Musbah, then Wahab, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Defense Headquarters is saying it will not fold its arms and watch the country slide into anarchy. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, announced this at the Defense Headquarters in Abuja, while reacting to issues around the planned nationwide protest. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
It is another defense media operations briefing to update Nigerians on ongoing armed forces operations across the country. Top is the discovery of plans to hijack the proposed nationwide protest by targeting government and private property.
While the protesters have a right by the Constitution to protest, they do not have a right to galvanize for the unleashing of terror. The military will not stand by and allow anarchy to befall our nation. It is our constitutional responsibility to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Similarly, the Defense Headquarters has established a unified security command structure in the Niger Delta region to curb oil theft in line with the recent presidential directives.
Ensuring the transparency of the international oil companies operating in the region, reinforcing surveillance of the oil infrastructures deployed across the Niger Delta region.
The director stressed that troops have upscaled the destruction of terrorists and bandits, logistics and military base, and are also targeting their commanders and foot soldiers. From the Defense Headquarters in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And in its reaction to the planned protest, the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria is tasking security agencies in the country to ensure adequate security of lives and property, while warning against the possibility of hoodlums hijacking the planned peaceful protest by those aggrieved over the current hardship in the country. President of the union, Festus Osifo, who gave the warning during a press briefing in Abuja, confirmed that the union is a party to the protest. Joseph Osem reports.
It is a briefing that centers on trading issues in the country. The planned nationwide protest, 70,000 naira new national minimum wage, and rhetoric making the rounds about Dangote refinery. TUC President Festus Osifo, while acknowledging the fundamental rights of citizens to protest, warned that such protests without a face may have mischiefs with hidden motives of causing destruction with heavy toll on the downtrodden.
When hoodlums, hijack such protests, it may lead to several issues.
On the 70,000 naira new national minimum wage, Osifo says the organized labor arrived at the figure after basing its negotiation on the inflation rate. The union believes that full implementation of the consequential adjustment by government at all levels will reduce hardship. The union is also concerned about the narrative surrounding the Dangote refinery, saying it is likely to scare investors and wants the federal government to address the issue head-on. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
Meanwhile, northern elders on the platform of Northeast Leaders of Thought have described the planned nationwide protest by some Nigerians as a call to anarchy, which must be avoided at all costs for the peace and continued survival of Nigeria as a corporate entity. The forum, under the chairmanship of an elder statesman and former Federal Commissioner of Information, General Ibrahim Haruna, says the federal government needs time to recover from various shocks threatening the Nigerian economy. He particularly commended the Tinubu presidency for the painstaking measures taken in stabilizing the country and putting national interest above personal consideration amidst global uncertainties.
To our youths who are planning some protests around the country, to give the government of the day a chance to settle down, to work. The government has just spent 1 year in office. Hopefully, when it gets its acts in order, it should be able to improve the living conditions of the people.
Some leaders of the forum also added their voice to the call
of Nigeria to give government a chance so that there would be no disturbances in the country.
To think of protests at this point in time is probably not the best, quite honestly. We must learn from what has happened in countries like Sudan, Somalia, and all these countries. Where are they today?
Protests cannot solve anything, because once you start a protest, you don't know how it's going to end.
Now, more groups have joined in the call for organizers of the planned protests to shelve the action, with the Alumni Association of the Nigerian National Institute expressing profound concern over the development. The body is appealing to the organizers to seek peaceful dialogue as an alternative towards the resolution of these issues raised in their demands, even as the government outlines measures to cushion the effects of the current challenges being faced by Nigerians. And in Lagos, security agents and other stakeholders have resolved that the proposed national protest will not hold in the state. This is the outcome of a town hall meeting organized by the Commissioner of Police, Lagos State, Fayode Adegoke Nwabufo Nwanye reports.
The looming national protest, billed to take off from August 1st to draw government's attention to tackle the current economic hardship, has been described by various stakeholders in Lagos State as a wrong step that will impede peace and progress of the state and country at large. The Commissioner of Police, Lagos State Command, Fayode Adegoke, among other security agents, expressed worry over what they describe as faceless protest that may lead to breakdown of law and order.
Well, we don't know the proponents of the protest or those behind it. It portends danger. And the issue that happened during NSAS to happen, where properties, valuable properties, what billions of naira were damaged, lives were lost.
The situation of peace, the environment that is peaceful, a lot to achieve.
As citizens, everybody has a right to protest. However, when the protest cannot be controlled, or when the protest cannot identify those behind the protest, then it becomes a problem. It is no longer a protest.
Leaders from various communities and organizations say that Lagos State is the commercial center of the country that needs to be protected against hoodlums. They are sure that people under their watch will not participate in the national protest.
We have instructed our young ones, our youths, not to be involved. Why they are doing it, those people that are going to be involved in it, those people that are leading it, we don't know. So Igbo people cannot partake in anything that is faceless against the government.
We want peace in Lagos. We want peace in Nigeria.
The citizens are enjoined to support the effort of the federal government to ensure national development. In Lagos, Nwabufo Nwanye, NTA News.
To other news now, in an attempt to stem rising challenges associated with climate change, the federal government has launched the Nigeria Police Green Initiative to make the country safer and more secure for economic development. Vice President Kashim Shettima at the inauguration restated government's commitment towards a more secured and sustainable future for Nigeria. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila tells us more.
Green Initiative, the Nigeria Police contribution to the global commitment towards mitigating the effects of climate change. The design of a framework to implement the creation of a greener and environmentally conscious nation.
The Nigerian Police Green Initiative, therefore, emphasizes our bid to prioritize innovation and partnerships as fundamental drivers for the nation's transition to a green economy. This is an opportunity for you to transition the facilities of your institution to renewable energy sources and promote environmental awareness and education.
The initiative is also setting a stage to support Nigeria's energy transition plan through the promotion of eco-friendly transportation method, adoption of renewable energy sources, and innovative technology development for a sustainable value chain.
The Nigeria Police Green Initiative is not only a moral imperative, but also a strategic necessity. Its benefits include contributing to clean energy and energy efficiency, emission reduction, and infrastructure modernization.
It will also position the force as a modern initiative organization, not just in Nigeria, but in Africa as well. At NASENI, we are therefore very delighted to be partners and collaborators with the Nigerian Police Force and Near Energy on this.
The unveiling of the Nigerian Police Green Initiative at the 28th session of the Conference of Parties further signals Nigeria's commitment to partner with stakeholders in providing technology in the green space. In Abuja, Abdurrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
We'll go on a break. When we return, we'll take the news. Welcome back. President General Ohanaeze Ndigbo worldwide, Chief Emmanuel Chukwuemeka Nwanyanwu, is dead. The news of his demise has been confirmed by the Nwanyanwu family of Umuohi Ata in Ekeduru local government area of Imo State.
There can be no peace in Nigeria if there is insecurity in any part of this country. There is need for coordination, cooperation among all the various security agents.
Chief Nwanyanwu, who passed earlier today after a brief illness, was 82 years old, as well as being the President General of Ohanaeze Ndigbo worldwide. Chief Nwanyanwu, before his death, was also President of Owerri People's Assembly. He is survived by his wife, Lady Princess Frances Nwanyanwu, many children and grandchildren. A release issued by his son, Jide Nwanyanwu, says details of the burial will be announced later after due consultation. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has extended his heartfelt commiseration to the family of late elder statesman Chief Emmanuel Nwanyanwu. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, describes Chief Nwanyanwu as an accomplished businessman and notable politician. President Tinubu also condoles with the Imo State government, friends and associates of the deceased and Ndigbo over this irreparable loss. The President affirms that Chief Nwanyanwu will always be remembered for his remarkable legacy and prays for the repose of the soul of the departed elder statesman and for God to comfort his family. The federal government has reiterated its commitment to enhancing the integrity of the electoral process through policy reforms and collaboration with relevant stakeholders. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, gave the assurance at a stakeholders roundtable meeting organized by the Election Integrity Promotion Alliance in Abuja.
The integrity of elections is fundamental to the legitimacy of governance structures and building of public trust in a democratic process, no doubt. Armed with these facts, stakeholders at this forum are brainstorming, putting into perspective factors that have negatively influenced the electoral process in the country in the past, with the aim of charting a new roadmap towards transparent and credible elections.
It is incumbent upon us as custodians of this process to ensure that every vote counts and every voice is heard without impediment or undue influence.
Others are of the opinion that lawmakers should be elected to operate on a part-time basis. They also believe that with more stringent sanctions in place, training and retraining of security agencies and the deployment of ICT during elections will make the process become more credible.
Collectively, we have a responsibility to come up with innovative strategies, collaborative programs and initiatives that will enhance the sustainability of democracy in Nigeria.
While we discuss our democracy, while we discuss electoral system, we also need to discuss what happens elsewhere.
Meanwhile, the forum identified the forthcoming governorship elections in Edo and Ondo states as a litmus test to evaluate the outcomes of conversations as these. Kenneth Nani, NTA News.
Also coming as an assurance from the federal government is a statement by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edu, that government's immediate agenda is directed at tackling the current food crisis in the country. The minister made this position known while updating the media on the country's economic journey and prospects in 2024. Neka Oko reports.
Nigeria's economy has faced significant headwinds in recent months, with concerns over inflation, escalating food prices, currency fluctuations, and impact of global factors. The urgency of the situation necessitates swift action, and the government acknowledges the need to move quickly.
Despite the difficulties, the economy in Nigeria grew faster in the first quarter of 2024 compared to 2023. Non-oil revenue was 68% higher than in the previous period.
To address the current food insecurity, the minister said governors have been provided with 20 trucks of rice per state, in addition to food reserves being released.
There's a strategic import program in the short term, in a very short term, and that program involves bringing in agricultural raw materials for millers, for food processors.
He described the current surge in inflation driven by the high cost of living as an anticipated consequence of the necessary economic reforms implemented by the present administration, which he said are crucial for the country's growth.
The government has diligently serviced all its loans and obligations with no recourse to ways and means financing.
The minister is optimistic that the country will witness significant economic improvement with the faithful implementation of the Accelerated Stabilization and Advancement Plan. Neka Oko, NTA News.
And now to legislative concerns. We hear the Senate Ad Hoc Committee investigating economic sabotage in the petroleum industry is assuring Nigerians of transparency in the conduct of their proceedings, describing the assignment as an integrity test on them to make players in the industry accountable. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
Inquiry into activities of operators in the petroleum industry is regular for standing and ad hoc committees of Nigeria's parliament as it seeks answers to salient issues. The chairman of this ad hoc committee and leader of the Senate, Okoyemi Bamidele, says this time the mandate is clear.
The committee was constituted for the purpose of ensuring social and economic justice with a view to addressing fundamental issues that pose grave threats to our economic prosperity, fiscal stability, and public health as a nation.
We must not allow this nation to go under. We are together involved in making sure that our country bounces back.
So this committee cannot be said to be like other committees in the past whose report did not see the light of the day.
As it seeks insights by engaging related parties to uncover the alleged saboteurs, the committee will be focusing on some of the obvious, why government-funded refineries are still not working.
We have major challenges with the major marketers, local independent marketers, but problems with the turnaround maintenance, the NMPC and the regulatory agencies. This is the job that we are going to do.
We are here to go deep down into what is happening to see how we can add value to the governance of this country.
Facts will be found out and proper decisions will be taken on.
We believe that there's not going to be any scapegoat.
The committee intends to go for on-the-spot assessment of sites and institutions, in addition to the conduct of a public hearing in its resolve to promote and protect the strategic interests of the nation. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Meanwhile, operatives of the Nigerian Navy ship NNS Pathfinder have apprehended operators of an illegal crude refinery in a converted private residence in Okwozi community in the Ogba, Egbema and Doni local government area of Rivers State. Commander of the naval base, Commander Desmond Igbo, led newsmen to the site where over 200,000 liters of illegal refined automotive gas oil, otherwise known as diesel, was confiscated. Kinsley Amajiri reports.
2 suspects were arrested during the operation and are currently undergoing security interrogation. Commodore Igbo says the discovery was made possible through credible intelligence gathering in response to the mandate of the Chief of Naval Staff for crude oil theft and other related vices in the Niger Delta region to be combated. The current feat comes few weeks after the naval authorities relaunched the 3rd phase of the Operation Delta Sanity.
You can see this is a whole compound that someone is living and has converted it to an illegal refinery site. So the Nigerian Navy, under the able leadership of Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ikechukwu Ogala, has given us this mandate, and we are poised and determined to achieve it.
The Nigerian Navy ship Pathfinder operatives say they are determined to apprehend other criminal elements in the illicit business wherever they may be, on land or on water.
All suspects we have arrested in all our operations, we have diligently handed them over to prosecuting agents.
Key objective of the Nigerian Navy in this renewed operation is to help the nation achieve increased oil output to meet the OPEC quota of at least 2.5 million barrels per day. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Now, the era of caretaker committee chairmen in local government areas across the country may be over if the Independent National Electoral Commission is given the mandate to conduct elections at that level. This assurance came from the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, during an interface between the Commission and the National Assembly Joint Committee on Electoral Matters, following the recent Supreme Court judgment granting financial autonomy to local governments.
Our track record actually proves that we can do it. Take the case of the Federal Capital Territory. And this is one part of the country where INEC has conducted local government elections. And it has resulted in the following. It is perhaps the only part of the country where local government elections are held regularly. There has never been a caretaker committee for any area council in the FCT. This is perhaps what has been encouraging many Nigerians to say that if INEC is saddled with the responsibility of conducting local government elections, the same thing will be replicated.
The chairman, however, notes that amendment would have to be made to the Constitution and the Act establishing the Commission for INEC to take on such responsibilities. Adds to budgetary releases to the Commission, the chairman confirms that it has been regular and stands at 58.3% of the 40 billion naira allocated. The Joint Committee also expressed satisfaction with the state of preparedness of the Commission to conduct off-cycle elections and the upcoming governorship elections in Edo and Ondo states. We'll take a break. More reports when we return. Don't go away. You're watching NTA Network News. The senator representing Jigawa Northwest has complimented federal government's effort at easing the hardship on Nigerians as he flags off distribution of food items worth millions of naira. National Assembly correspondent Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports.
Exchange of pleasantries with constituents in a friendly mood. Senator Babangida is in Kazori to flag off distribution of palliatives to people of Jigawa Northwest Senatorial District. This is the first batch in the distribution, and Senator Babangida Hussaini pledges to dash out more.
The intent is to reduce the hardship and the difficulties that is really affecting our people. And like you rightly know, I've always connected with my people. I feel for them. I feel their pain. I feel their happiness. So I'm here to launch it. Every local government will receive 100 bags of processed corn flour.
He is always doing his best to see that our Northwest or Jigawa in particular become among the best in the state.
I thank God and we wished him well in his political career. We have never experienced this kind of gesture before.
Since the inception of politics from 1999, he has been doing so many things that we are very proud of.
Babangida has also assured to distribute farm inputs across his senatorial district as the farming season progresses. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
The Association of National Accountants of Nigeria and Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria are strategizing on ways to strengthen their partnership for transformation and national growth. This was at the 4th Joint Council Retreat held in Abuja. Bosade Ebel Amosu reports.
It's the 4th Joint Annual Council Retreat of the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria and Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, where the Memorandum of Understanding were deliberated on, stocks taking and strategy on a level playground to improve on scorecards for growth.
The two institutes should come together, do meetings together, understand the body language of each other, and look at you face to face to see that whether you appreciate what is happening.
Some challenges affecting the progress of making the impact of the collaboration meaningful were on the front burner.
Can we use internal mechanism to treat that disagreement, or do we go outside to get an arbitration to bring understanding to the two bodies? Which one would we go for?
It was a thing we needed to do, and we have done it, and we are reviewing. I think it's been good so far. So we borrowed from Anna.
The theme for this year is to enable the bodies to enhance their professional cooperation and making index notation of major achievements. In Abuja, Bosade Ebo Amosu, NTA News.
An early morning incident of building collapse at Arowajobe Estate, Maryland, Lagos, has claimed the lives of 5 persons, while 5 others suffered various degrees of injuries. Joy Papuala reports that emergency responders are still at the scene, evacuating the rubble.
The 3-terrace building under construction, NTA News gathered, caved in at about 2 o'clock in the morning of Thursday. When workers were on site, the construction had reached an advanced stage before the tragic occurrence that has now thrown residents of Wilson Mba Street, Arowojobe Estate, Mende, Maryland, into mourning. The unfortunate incident, according to a statement released by the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, led to the death of 5 workers on site, and their remains have been deposited at the morgue, while 5 others are receiving treatments.
When I got there, the building has collapsed. So what I just believe what happens, it can be a technical issue, maybe from the engineer or maybe from the structure.
A construction expert at the scene of the incident blamed the tragic occurrence on substandard building materials and engagement of quacks.
The individuals must know that you are being penny wise, pound foolish when you take somebody from off the street to do your work for you. It doesn't work too well. Particularly this area, our area outside a few portions here, they have what we call pity soil.
Many residents are yet to come to terms with the tragic incident as evacuation of the site continues for likelihood of more human casualty.
This incident adds to the growing, frightening statistics of building collapse this year alone in Lagos State. To forestall a reoccurrence, stakeholders are suggesting that regulatory authorities carry out their oversight function effectively.
The site has been cordoned off as investigation to ascertain the cause continues. In Lagos, Joel Ukwola, NTA News.
Indeed, this is one too many. Relevant authorities need to take action on collapsed buildings in Nigeria. The Borno State government has expressed commitment to successfully hosting the Lake Chad Basin Governors Forum meeting slated for 18th October this year in Maiduguri. Governor Babagana Umara Zulum stated this when he received the incumbent chairlady of the forum and Governor of Hajj Lamis region of Chad, Jima Abdurrahman, on a courtesy visit to the government house, Maiduguri, as part of her engagement in the state. Mohammed Goni reports.
The Chad Basin Governors Forum was established in 2018 in Maiduguri to, among other things, share knowledge, promote peace, and enhance livelihood of the member nations. Since then, the forum's meeting is being rotated among member nations, and the next meeting will be held in Maiduguri.
Let me, on behalf of the government and people of Borno State, thank the President of the Republic of Chad and the people of Chad for hosting our refugees, particularly in Bangasola and other places in Chad.
Professor Zulum wished the visiting chairlady of the forum the best as she commences official engagement in the state, noting that the state authorities will facilitate her tour of projects executed through the regional stabilization facilities with the support of the UNDP. The visiting chairlady of the forum and governor of Hajj Lamis region of Chad, Ijima Abdurrahman, noted the devastation caused by Boko Haram insurgency across member nations with attendant loss of lives and property as well as basic infrastructure. She applauded efforts put in place by Governor Zulum to address the challenges occasioned by insurgency in Borno and highlighted steps taken in her region to improve basic infrastructure. The chairlady stressed the need for all hands to be on deck to permanently address the challenges posed by insurgency. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development says African Aviation and Aerospace University will be the center of innovation and research development capable of addressing aviation gaps and boost economic viability of the sector. The minister stated this during the groundbreaking ceremony and maiden matriculation of the university. He added that the university was established as a center of excellence, using a world-class curriculum in collaboration with international experts in aviation education from relevant institutions. It blended with theoretical knowledge and practical experience towards ensuring that the products of AAAU are well prepared to tackle the challenges of the industry and beyond.
Within the whole agenda of the current administration, particularly Agenda 4 of my 5-point agenda, which focuses on addressing the human resource gap in the aviation sector.
I have no doubt in my mind that this university is going to have a very solid foundation, and this has already started. You can clearly see the joy in the faces of our graduates. I congratulate all of you.
Expressed appreciation for the support of the President for approving the takeoff grant for the project to complement the budget provision made available for the university's development in the 2024 appropriation, and expressed confidence that the project will be completed within 48 weeks. We'll take another break, but just before we go, let's bring you a quick reminder of the antecedents of state creation in Nigeria. Thanks for joining us. President Bola Tinubu has emphasized the importance of sustaining democracy, its norms and institutions, noting that protests are an integral part of democracy, but that no government will condone demonstration that leads to the destruction of lives and property. The president said this when he received a letter of credence from the newly appointed United States ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. Richard Mills, Jr. State House correspondent Musbah Wahab reports that the president also received new envoys from Malaysia and Botswana.
Richard Mills Jr. gets a befitting welcome from the Presidential Guards Brigade.
Guard of honor!
The reception is as important as the assignment before him in Nigeria. Lately, Nigeria and the United States of America have initiated measures to further strengthen their ties with the earlier visits of the U.S. Secretary of State and his deputy subsequently. President Tinubu, who acknowledged the relationship between Nigeria and America, which he described as rich, said both countries believe in democracy and freedom. Welcoming the U.S. State Department's acknowledgement of Nigeria's strategic role on the continent as Africa's largest democracy, President Tinubu called on the U.S. government to pay more attention to Africa.
So some of the areas that we're looking at, for instance, are AGOA, African Growth Opportunities Act, which gives African countries the opportunity to export finished products into the U.S. market. And this is something that is to be renewed.
Ambassador Mills affirmed U.S. support for Nigeria's democracy and bigger roles of Nigeria in the international arena, expressing the United States' commitment to expanding cooperation with Nigeria on cybercrimes. The ambassador announced the establishment of a specific office at the embassy to work closely with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. President Tinubu also received letters of credence from the High Commissioner of Malaysia to Nigeria, Ayub bin Omar, and the High Commissioner of Botswana, Field Nani Kering. President Tinubu told the High Commissioner of Malaysia that Nigeria would work towards improving the balance of trade between the two countries. President Tinubu acknowledged many Nigerian students studying in Malaysia, adding that Nigeria looks forward to their contribution to the development of critical sector of the economy such as agriculture and ICT.
We have about 4,000 Nigerian students in Malaysia, so it's something that is, very important to us.
In his audience with the Botswana High Commissioner, the President expressed Nigeria's readiness to develop a robust cultural and economic cooperation with a southern African country.
And now, with the creation of a Ministry for Livestock, we can do more in terms of improving the stock of our cattle, because Botswana stands out when it comes to the issue of cattle and beef exports globally.
High Commissioner Kereng said Botswana is committed to being a leader in the production of livestock vaccines and is prepared to partner with Nigeria in this area. From the State House, Musbah Wahab, NTA News.
And before we go, let's hear from Ayodeji Makinde on preparations for the opening ceremony tomorrow of the Olympics in Paris and other news. Ayodeji.
Oh yes, thanks Jummai. Quickly, let's tell you that Nigeria lost by a lone goal to Brazil in their opening Group B match of women's football at the Paris Olympics played in Bordeaux. The Super Falcons had played Brazil and Nigeria. Remember actions? Yep.
Oh, yeah. And that's NTA Network News for tonight. Thanks so much for watching. Good night.